Mia Harper had one rule: always play it safe. Life was predictable, planned, and orderly, just the way she liked it. That was, until Ethan Cross showed up in her life like a Category 5 hurricane. It all started when Mia got her dream job at Ellis & Company, a high-profile publishing house. She arrived on her first day, her neatly pressed blouse tucked into a pencil skirt, feeling confident. She was ready to make her mark. And then Ethan Cross swaggered into the morning meeting. Ethan, the company's golden boy, was trouble-wrapped in a perfectly tailored black shirt. His steel blue eyes were sharp, his messy dark brown hair looked like he'd just rolled out of bed, yet somehow looked perfect, and that smirk. Oh, that smirk could launch 1,000 complaints to HR. "Miss Harper," Ethan drawled, leaning against the conference table like he owned the place. "Welcome to the team." Mia smiled politely. "Thank you." But the gleam in his eyes told her he wasn't here to play nice. "Let's hope you can keep up." Keep up? Oh, it's on, she thought. By week 2, Mia had officially labeled Ethan as insufferable. He'd stolen her favorite seat in the break room, dismissed one of her pitches in front of the team, and constantly teased her about being too perfect. One rainy evening, they were both stuck late working on edits for a major client. Mia was laser-focused on her screen when Ethan walked by, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "Peace offering?" he asked, placing a cup on her desk. She arched an eyebrow. "What's the catch?" "No catch." He grinned, sitting on the edge of her desk. "You just look like you're about to murder someone, and I figured caffeine might stop you from committing a felony." Mia snorted, surprising herself. "You're unbelievable. And you're too easy to rile up," he countered, his steel blue eyes sparkling. Mia took a sip of the coffee. It was perfect, annoyingly so. "Fine. Thanks." For a moment, they sat in silence, the hum of the office filling the space between them. Mia found herself stealing glances at him, how his sharp jawline caught the light, how his lips quirked when he caught her staring. "Careful, Harper," he said, his voice low and teasing. "You're starting to like me." She rolled her eyes. "Don't flatter yourself." It was late at the office, and Mia sat at her desk. Ethan leaned casually against the desk, arms crossed, watching her with a smirk. "You know, Harper, working this hard might actually turn you into a robot," he teased. Mia shot him a glare, her auburn hair falling into her eyes. "And slacking off might actually make you useful," she snapped back. Ethan chuckled, stepping closer. "Relax, Ice Queen. I'm just here to make sure you don't melt from overworking." She rolled her eyes. "You're insufferable." "And you're predictable," he countered, grinning. Mia turned to him, annoyed. "If I'm so predictable, why are you still here?" Ethan leaned in slightly, his steel blue eyes locking with hers. "Maybe because annoying you is my favorite hobby." Her heart skipped a beat, but she covered it with a scoff. "You're impossible. And you love it," he shot back, grabbing his jacket and heading for the door. "Good night, Harper," he said, glancing back with a wink. "Good night, Cross," she muttered, trying not to smile. Damn him. The following week, Mia found herself paired with Ethan for a photo shoot concept. It was a high-stakes project, and the pressure was on. They spent hours brainstorming, arguing, and challenging each other. "Your idea is fine," Ethan said, "but it's missing an edge." "Edge?" Mia repeated, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Not every campaign needs to look like a biker gang took over." Ethan smirked. "A little danger wouldn't kill you." "I prefer professionalism," she shot back. "And I prefer excitement," he said, leaning forward. "That's the problem, Harper. You're ice, and I'm fire. You play it safe. I take risks." Mia's hazel eyes narrowed. "Maybe I don't want to take risks." "Maybe you should," he said, his voice dropping to a whisper. For a moment, the air between them crackled. But Mia turned away, refusing to give him the satisfaction. One evening, Ethan found Mia sitting alone in the break room. She looked tired, vulnerable. "Hey," he said, sliding into the seat across from her. "Hey," she replied softly, not meeting his gaze. "What's wrong?" Mia hesitated. "Just a lot of pressure, I guess. I don't want to mess this up." Ethan frowned. "Mia, you're brilliant. You're not going to mess it up." She blinked, surprised by his sincerity. "You really think that?" "Of course," he said, his steel blue eyes locking onto hers. "You're a pain in my ass, but you're also the smartest person in the room." Mia laughed, her cheeks flushing. "Thanks, I think." For the first time, Ethan wasn't just the cocky bad boy. He was kind. The night of the big presentation arrived. But when Ethan made a last-minute change to their pitch without telling her, Mia lost it. "What the hell, Ethan?" she hissed as they stepped into the hallway. "Relax, Harper," he said, his tone calm. "It worked." "That's not the point," she snapped. "We're a team. You can't just go rogue whenever you feel like it." Ethan's jaw tightened. "I did what needed to be done. I'm sorry if your feelings got hurt." "Ugh, you're impossible," she said, turning to walk away. But before she could, Ethan grabbed her wrist, pulling her back. "Mia," he said, his voice softer now. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I can't let you see me fail." She froze, her hazel eyes searching his. And in that moment, she saw past the bravado to the vulnerable man underneath. The tension between them shifted after that night. They still bickered, but now there was a spark of something deeper. One afternoon, Ethan invited Mia to coffee. "I don't get you," she said, sipping her latte. "What's not to get?" he replied, smirking. "You're cocky, annoying, and infuriating," she said. "But then you do something sweet, and it throws me off." Ethan chuckled. "I'm an enigma, Harper." "More like a headache," she muttered, but she couldn't hide her smile. At the company gala, Mia stunned everyone. Ethan couldn't take his eyes off her. "Dance with me," he said, extending a hand. Mia hesitated but took it. As they swayed to the music, the world seemed to fade away. "You look beautiful tonight," Ethan said, his voice low. "Thanks," Mia replied, her cheeks warming. He leaned closer, his steel blue eyes locked on hers. "Mia, I think I'm falling for you." Her heart skipped a beat. "Ethan." Before she could say more, he kissed her hand, his gaze never leaving hers. Later that night, they found themselves alone on the balcony, the city lights twinkling in the distance. "Why do you have to make everything so complicated?" Mia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Because nothing worth having is easy," Ethan replied, stepping closer. She looked up at him, her hazel eyes wide. "You're impossible." "And you're irresistible," he said, cupping her cheek. Before she could protest, he kissed her. It was soft and slow, a mix of fire and ice. And in that moment, Mia realized she didn't want him to stop. A week later, they walked through the park together, the golden morning sunlight casting a warm glow over them. "So, are we a thing now?" Ethan teased. Mia rolled her eyes. "You wish." "I do," he said, grinning. She laughed, shaking her head. "You're trouble, Ethan Cross." "And you love it," he replied, pulling her close. Mia didn't argue. Because as much as they were opposites, they were also perfect for each other.